I would like to call the Flint Board of Education special meeting to order. It is 5:30 p.m. Board members, pardon?
It's
What did I
6:30?
say?
Yeah,
Well, it's 6:30. I know. Yeah. I'm in a different state, so it's my 5:30. Board members, as I call your name, please reply present for the public record. Secretary Green,
Present.
Treasurer McIntyre,
Present.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McNeil,
Present.
Board Trustee Walker,
Present.
Board Trustee Wright, and myself, Vice President Perry here. As of this right now, Board Trustee Wright is absent, but I'm quite sure she's
I'm
coming.
here. I'm here.
Okay. For correction, Board Trustee Wright is here. President McIntosh, President McIntosh is leaving a meeting, coming, or whatever that is that she's doing.
There was a GISD budget
You're here?
presentation meeting that she had to attend. Yeah.
Mrs. McIntosh is here now.
My car, though. In my car, so proceed.
You can run the meeting.
Well, I can't pull up my stuff and I'm in my car because I'm trying to
let me know when you get where you're going to be going. Okay, at this time, the board will hear any comments from the public. The public is reminded that you may raise your hand to speak. If you have submitted a comment in the chat section, please advise if you wish to speak. Also, anyone who sent an email prior to today's meeting will have that read. Members of the public are reminded that the Board of Education, by its bylaw 1370, are not obligated to answer questions, make statements, or comments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such issues will be referred to the superintendent for investigation, study, or recommendation. Public members, Stephen will call your name before you are unmuted to speak. Please restate your name and address before you begin speaking. Stephen, do we have anyone that wishes to address the board?
Good afternoon, board. There are currently no questions in that section or any hands raised at this time.
All righty. The public is reminded, thank you, Stephen. The public is reminded that you may submit your comments by email to FBOE@flintschools.org to have them read at the next meeting. Thank you. At this time, I seek a motion and a second to go into closed session for the purpose of holding administrator meetings as requested by administrators.
So moved. Support.
It has been moved and properly second, that we meet in closed session. Board members, when I call upon your name, please say yes or no to go into closed session. Secretary Green?
Yes.
Treasurer McIntyre?
Yes.
Assistant Secretary Treasurer McNeil?
Yes.
Board Trustee Walker?
Yes.
Board Trustee Wright?
Yes.
President McIntosh?
yes.
Okay, and myself, Vice President Perry, yes. Board members, we are now in closed session. You must go to webinar and go into the private Zoom. The Zoom meeting invite that was emailed to you from Monica. Public members, we will return here after we come out of closed session.
Okay, I would like to call the special board meeting back to order. I will conduct a roll call to ensure all board members have returned. Board members, as I call your name, please say present for the record. Vice President Perry,
Present.
Secretary Green, Treasurer McIntyre,
Present.
Assistant Secretary McNeil,
Present.
Board Trustee Walker,
Present.
Board Trustee Wright,
Present.
and myself, I'm present. Okay. At this time, the board will hear any comments from the public. Any comments from the public? The public is reminded that you may raise your hand to speak if you have any if you have submitted a comment in the chat section. Please be advised if you wish to speak. I'm sorry, if you have submitted a comment in the chat section, please be advised if you wish to speak. Also, anyone who sent an email prior to today's meeting will have that read. Members of the public are reminded that the Board of Education, by its bylaws 1370, are not obligated to answer questions, make statements or comments in response to the issues raised by the public in general. Such issues will be referred to the superintendent for investigation, study, or recommendation. Public members, Stephen will call your name before you are unmuted to speak. Please restate your name and address before you begin speaking. Stephen, do we have anyone that wishes to address the board?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I have to pull things up. I didn't realize we were doing another public comment.
Okay,
Give
that's
me
okay.
1 second here. And I do have, looks like Mr. Arthur Woodson would like to speak.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and unmute him now. Mr. Woodson, you are unmuted. Feel free to begin when you are ready.
Yes, I'm not going to take long because I don't know what I see now. Treasury MOU discussion, and I would really like to know what that MOU discussion is about. Normally, you have discussion prior, and we speak on the agenda, and then after you go through your agenda, we speak again after you all speak about the agenda. So, I mean, is this MOU about the MOU about schools being built? We don't know that for sure. So I wish I was able to comment on that part, on that piece. But I will say this, that the public, or not the public, but the residents of the city of Flint should have a seat at the table when this MOU is being discussed. Not at the 5th meeting, but the 1st meeting. It's a shame that we allow others to tell us what we need. For some strange reason, the city of Flint have a whole lot of overseers. People who do not even live in the city of Flint makes the calls for the people here in the city of Flint, like we don't know what we're supposed to be doing, that we don't know how to manage ourselves. I mean, it's highly upsetting because I just see it in every way. Card. They give money for different feeding groups or organizations throughout the city. Why do we need Job Corps and CRIM to do our after school programs? I remember back in the day when I was coming up, Mr. Munnerlin at Merle School was our community director. Why do we need to give money to CRIM for them to bring volunteers? Why do we keep on paying these different organizations to come in to the city of Flint and request volunteers to do the job that they're getting paid for? We don't need them to regulate who they hire and all this. We don't need a HR department for after school programs. Basically, that's what they are. CRIM don't even come on the north side now. And they got a whole bunch of the water money. When it's happened, they supposed to be doing feed the kids on the north side. I ain't even seen them. So let's stop using overseers and using the people in our own community. Thank you.
Okay, upon a second look here, looks like that is it for the public comment.
Okay. The public is reminded that you may submit your comments by mail to the Flint Board FBOE at flintschools.org to have them read at the next meeting. Thank you. At this time, I seek a motion in a second. Nope, that's the wrong portion. Okay, let me get right on my script because I'm on this. Okay. We are out of here. At this time, we are going to move to our finance and operations portion. According to my script, that would be item 11.4, authorization to extend the food services for 2022 management contract. At this time, we will call upon Ms. Domprey to.
Board President, you skipped item
Yeah.
1.7, human resources.
Oh, okay, because we got to discuss that out loud. I'm sorry. Okay, let me go back up because I'm sorry to the public. I don't have my hard copy, so I'm working with a couple devices trying to get it all together. I would like to call, okay, at this point, I would like to address action item 1.7, non-renewal of administrators' employment contracts. And I would like to call upon Ms. Georgina Rubin at this time.
Board,
Am I,
good
go
evening,
ahead.
Board.
Good evening.
Action item 1.7, non-renewal of administrator employment contracts. I seek a motion, a vote. I don't have a script either. I thought this was done in batch. I'm sorry. I'm seeking a vote to move forward with the administrator contract non-renewals.
So moved.
Okay,
Support.
it has been properly moved and seconded that we approve action item 1.7. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion to approve action item 1.7 will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, please say yes or no to approve this motion. Joyce Ellis McNeil. Danielle Green. I don't know if we lost Miss McNeil or not. Danielle Green.
Hear me? I'm sorry, President McIntyre, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, yes, it's yes for me.
Okay, Laura McIntyre,
Yes.
Vera Perry,
Yes.
Adrian Walker,
Yes.
Diana Wright,
Mike Neal is back.
Yes.
Joyce Ellis McNeil,
Yes.
and myself, Carol McIntosh, yes. Next, we move on to the finance and operations. Item 11.4, authorization to extend the 22 food services management contract. At this time, I'll call upon, is that Ms. Domprey?
Yes. I seek
Okay.
your approval to approve action item 11.4, the extension of the food service management contract for fiscal year 22.
Can I get a motion in a second?
Point of information, I thought this was brought to this meeting to discuss and get further information from Ms. Dumprey. We asked for some specific information that she was going to report back to us.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry, Ms. McIntyre.
I have
Go
to
ahead, Ms.
see
Domprey.
the
Discussion.
Okay.
Discussion is on the agenda. Well, according
Yes.
to, okay, you got it, Board President?
Let me see if I see discussion on here. I don't see discussion on my script though, so.
It's after it's been moved and properly second, then there's the discussion. Right.
Okay, I don't see that on my script, but okay. It has been moved, and who seconded that? We had a motion and a second from who?
I moved it.
And who
I
seconded?
second.
And
Right.
it is some discussion. Okay, I can't see the discussion portion now. I don't have glasses because I ran in here on a sham, but is there any discussion? Ms. McIntyre?
Yeah, we had put this on the agenda for the special meeting because we had requested information from Ms. Dumpre, and I wondered if she had that for us today.
So I have Sodexo on the line so that you can ask your specific questions for Sodexo.
Thank you. Who has questions for Sodexo? Because I can't see you guys. Ms. McIntyre? Ms. McNeil?
Hi, this is McNeil again. One of the questions we had in renewing your contract, could we look at serving more healthier food than what we've been serving on the menu? That is one of our concerns. And we discussed before more to the fact that our children in the community that you're serving your food to has vitamin D deficiency. And so the parents are not happy with the menu that you're serving. So is there any way that we can look at and have a menu of choice that we can look at and select a better menu that we had in the past?
So, Stephen, Mr. Sodexo has a presentation they would like to make, and they are underneath the panelists, underneath my name. Is it possible for them to be able to share a screen?
Yes. Can they unmute so I can get an idea who it is? Because I currently have 5 of you.
Yep, I know.
So I'm not quite sure who to unmute, but it looks like someone just unmuted. So, okay, let's see. Make presenter. Okay, I've handed over presenter status to the unmuted Ayana Dumpre. So I hope that's the one.
Michael, I can't hear you speaking. Can you speak?
They were unmuted a second ago, and now they're back to being self-muted. I'll send a unmute request. I'm not entirely sure if there's an issue with multiple speakers under the same name that might cause an issue.
I don't know what to do with that. Does he need to use a phone or something?
To be honest, the phone I'm not sure would work. To be honest, if he can join as an attendee, I can then pull him in as a panelist, and then we can display through that. But I think having you logged in 5 instances causes, I think, the program to not work properly. Okay, I see him unmuted now.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to mute myself and see if he can talk.
Okay.
And to the public, please bear with us. We're having some technical difficulties, but we're working it out.
Okay. Are you there, sir?
Oh,
Oh, there we go. Oh, and then you're muted again. Let's try that again. Yep. Are you there?
hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, there we are.
All right.
Okay. Okay, we can hear you now, so go ahead and proceed with your presentation.
Okay. So good afternoon, board. Good afternoon, superintendent. Good afternoon, CFO. Well, good evening. I'm sorry. And good afternoon, community. So right now I have a presentation, and this should and will answer all you guys' questions about Sodexo food service in the district of the community schools. Briefly, I want to talk about an outline of what we've experienced throughout this past year, and call it the COVID Chronicles. So just one part. These are the highlights of what's been going on and what's happened so far this year. So since March 16th of last year, we're almost at 2 million meals served throughout the district. And we've had a plethora of help throughout the district with the combined help of transportation. We've had numerous bus routes throughout the city, driving door-to-door delivery, 20 bus drivers, an abundance of safety advocates, along with the food service workers. USDA guidelines is what we followed throughout, and we were held to a standard, and they actually extended these waivers to where we could serve any child that's 18 and under. Since March 16th, we have missed only 3 serving days out of 375. So, and keep in mind, we're not just serving Monday through Friday, we're serving Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. Meals include, the meals are included with daily and fun activities and recipes for the fruits and vegetables that our kids consume on a daily basis. On the next slide, I want to talk about a few facts about our operation. In the current climate, serving 7 days worth of meals at once has its benefits as well as its opportunities. One of the key reasons we continue to serve this way is to limit the exposure of COVID-19. Currently, Michigan has the highest infection rate in the country. Fresh fruit and vegetables grant allows us to serve non-traditional produce that adds to our meal service. Examples of the fruits that we serve: star fruit, passion fruit, plums, papaya, and blood oranges. As I said before, the program remains to be in compliance with all school guidelines and regulations, and will continue to do so. Hold on, sorry. Get out the way. Hold on 1 second. What's in our bag? So this here shows our evolution dynamic. To the left, to your far right, is a picture of what we served at the beginning of the pandemic due to a low and limited resource and the panic. School districts everywhere were buying up what was left in the warehouses because businesses were shutting down due to the pandemic. On the left is what we're serving now: fresh fruit, fresh cut vegetables, homemade turkey sandwiches, and more. In the middle is a picture of some papaya and passion fruit that we're currently serving. And again, these are just 2 of many different options of exotic fruit and vegetables that we're serving in addition. The meals that we send home for the students all have cooking directions to ensure fresh home cooked meals. We're partnering with Crim Nutrition, not only to educate the students about what they're eating with fun facts that they can find inside their meal packages, but we're also going to start a viral virtual cooking show via Zoom this summer for the students. What's in the bag again? This is our fight against lead poisoning. We want to make sure that we give our students the best chance to succeed, even though the water crisis shook the city of Flint to its core. Flint Community Schools and Sodexo Magic are standing tall against lead poisoning. In this picture, you see items that we serve on a daily and a weekly basis that combat lead poisoning. All or some of these items contain calcium, vitamin C, iron, zinc, and chlorophyll. These all help mitigate lead poisoning and exposure of lead poisoning. And then how do we measure up? As you guys can see, this is our current April menu. My team and I work on these menus diligently to make sure that one, our students enjoy eating what's in front of them every day. Two, that our students have healthy options that add to and promote a healthy lifestyle. Three, during the pandemic, we try to resemble what the students would eat if school was in person as much as possible. Any event that we do return to in-person learning next year, we look forward to continuing serving a high quality meal, which actually highlights our scratch cooking abilities. An important part of our operation is to make sure that we continue to make our nutrition program better. We do this by staying informed of new trends and also researching nearby districts to see what they're serving compared to our menu. This way, we actually stay ahead of the game. We will continue to push the envelope of what it means to be a great nutrition program. We appreciate your questions, comments, and concerns because it will only make us better. We look forward to continuing this great relationship. That's it. That's all I have. So if you guys have any questions and concerns after that, I'll be glad to answer them.
Mrs. McIntosh. Or I guess Ms. Dampre, I believe your presentation, if you wanted to call on someone.
Okay,
I think
Ms.
Ms.
Green, you can
McIntosh
go
is
ahead
away.
with okay, Ms. Green, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay, thank you so much. So I have a couple of questions. My first one is everything on this menu USDA certified? Are we feeding them what we should be feeding them?
Yes, ma'am. Everything on the menu is either, well, both USDA approved and
Okay.
approved by the school, National School Lunch Program.
Okay, so in extension of that question, are we exceeding those expectations or just meeting the bare minimum?
And can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, so we're exceeding them. And with the addition of the fresh fruit and vegetable grant and the 10-cent grant, we're doing everything we can to exceed those levels. We don't pride ourselves on just meeting the levels that are in front of us.
Okay, so give me an example of a USDA approved meal and the exceeding that expectation type meal.
So an example is just making sure that we have the bare minimum components to a meal. You have your vegetable, you have your grain, you have your protein, you have your dairy. Okay, so that can be the bare minimum of having a hamburger patty with wheat bread and making sure that you have some type of canned vegetable and maybe or a carton of milk. I'll give you an example of one of the supper meals that we passed out this week was made from scratch chicken Alfredo right here at Northwestern. Our side dish was fresh asparagus. Like I said, we served our passion fruit for the fruit of the day. And of course, we have a choice of chocolate and white milk.
Okay. For the summer, where will you guys be serving the lunches, or where will you be serving the meals at for the community?
All 11 sites, all 11 school sites.
Okay, kind of similar to last summer,
Yes,
I should say.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did the staff of Sodexo get vaccinated, or do they plan to get vaccinated?
Most of them have already. This is, and they've been through a lot of the workshops that the school has provided, the district has provided, and some of them went on their own to their own medical professions and went and were vaccinated. Yes.
Is that something you guys require, or that's something that employees are taking upon themselves?
The company hasn't made it a requirement as of yet, but seeing that a lot of our employees are a little bit older, I stress that, you know, just being around the kids and being out actually in the neighborhood, so to speak, because that's how I caught COVID. The best way to protect themselves is to go get vaccinated.
And can you share with me those 11 sites where we'll be serving meals at this summer?
Yes.
Mr. Green, it's all of the school buildings?
All the school buildings.
Say it
It's
one more
all-
time, I'm sorry.
It's all the 11 school buildings that we have open. That's where we'll be serving.
That's a little different from last year then, because last year we did more, we went to the regencies, I think. We went to some housing, what do we call them? We went to the apartments where we
Ms.
did it a
Green?
little, so, yeah.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. So we will be doing actually the regencies. And we
Okay,
will do Burston. We will do Burston. But outside of that, we're going to be at Barnell, O'Rider, ETM, Eisenhower, Freeman, Nethercutt, Pierce, Potter, Holmes, and Southwestern. And
Okay,
actually
that's
out right outside of Northwestern as well too.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, sir. What's your name again?
Michael William.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Hey, Mike, I have a quick question. I know
ma'am.
that your menu date ended on the 17th. Is this right after the spring break?
No, ma'am. So it's another part to the menu. It just didn't fit on the screen. That's literally it. The menu goes all the way through the month of April.
So is it possible that you can provide the board the copy of your monthly menu? Because I know we have to have you have to have those, so we can just follow up and look and make sure that what's on the menu is what this kids are being served.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll take it a step further. If any of you guys would like to come to the operation and see how we put everything together. Exactly. The operation, I'm not asking you guys to come this early, but the operation starts at 4:30 in the morning and it ends around 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So any of that time, you guys are more than welcome to come see how we do everything, how we put things together. And also we serve on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 11 school sites. So if you guys want to drop by and just see how we coordinate that and run those sites, you're more than welcome to as well.
So I have a question. You're saying that now that school is closing, you're going to be feeding kids at these different locations. So you're not doing them 5 days a week. How many days a week are we feeding them at them different locations?
So just we've been serving just 1 day a week to the public. Monday, Tuesday is when school's in session. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's a break, then Thursday, Friday. So we take that middle day that's no session, school is not in session, and we serve the public. And when we serve the public, we actually disperse a 7 days worth of meals in that 1 day, and they include breakfast, lunch, supper, and a snack.
So that would include if I say Wednesday, would include every item from Sunday on your menu that you would include on that
Yes,
Wednesday
ma'am.
menu.
Yes, ma'am.
So, thank you so much for this, Mr. William. When you disperse on Wednesday, I thought Wednesday was the day that the district does the deep cleaning in the schools. How is that? How are you able to be in the school and distribute food with the deep cleaning? Like where are you set up, and how does your portion get cleaned, or how does that work?
So we serve right outside the buildings, and we have access to the kitchens and our coolers, which we make sure to keep our food up to temp. And then our area is actually deep cleaned on Fridays.
Okay, and if you talked about wanting to establish better relationships and coordination. Is there a way that parents can or community members can contact Sodexo directly? Is there a supervisor, a community relations individual that comments, questions, or concerns can be brought to directly with your company?
Yeah, so we're working on that right now. Well, I am, and we're partnering with CRIM. So, and in just about a week or two here, we're going to get out a student survey to the kids in the district. And it's going to consist of about 4 to 5 questions on food service. How important has it been during the pandemic? What likes, dislikes, things of that nature, so we can kind of get around about to kind of bring it back to the table and see, if anything, if what we need to change, so we can change it immediately. As far as a direct phone line, our line has actually been kind of been off the hook with that. So I think the parents actually kind of know who to call or where to call. And we've been answering every call and every voicemail. So
I mean, is there a proper chain that you want people? I mean, is there some way that can get streamlined, or maybe once those messages are relayed to you that they can get addressed and resolved satisfactorily, so that there isn't, you're the one that brought up about enhancing the relationships with the public, and I'm just wondering how better to help you do that.
Well, they have a direct line to our food service line in our office, and as soon as questions or concerns are asked or brought up, we tend to handle them right away. Well, we don't leave any time in between, especially dealing with food service and with the parents and the students. So they have a direct line to our food service office.
And what specifically is your partnership with the CRIM Foundation? Do you have an MOU? Do you have a contract? What is it?
Honestly, that I don't know the dynamic of that. What the inline details is with the relationship. I just know that they help us when we need them to. They help us come up with recipes for the fruits and vegetables and things that we pass out to the kids and serve to the kids. They help us make insightful videos and healthy videos, learning about facts, nutritional facts and things of that nature. But the breakdown and the dynamic of the relationship, I have no clue.
So we have the district manager for Sodexo on the call. Bernard, can you please respond to that question? He's underneath my name again.
I have to mute probably.
I apologize. I'm not quite sure who is who. There's no discernible difference between
Okay,
your
Bernard
names.
said
I
he's an
apologize.
attendee. He says he's a Bernard Gladney. He said he's an
Bernard?
attendee. Can you pull him over?
Oh, I see him. Yep. Okay, he is over now. Bernard, feel free to unmute. All right, there we go.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Good evening, everybody. In terms and good evening and good to meet you, Mrs. McIntyre. In terms of the relationship with CRIM, Sodexo Magic really doesn't have like a one-on-one relationship with CRIM. We work directly between the relationship that Flint Community Schools has with CRIM. So while CRIM also supports Flint Community Schools, just as Sodexo Magic is a partner, it's all a partnership through Flint Community Schools, if that makes any sense.
Not really. Not at all. But I mean, if you don't understand how it works, is there anyone else who can answer that question? And I know that Danielle has a question too, so.
Thank you.
I do want it answered though. I would really like somebody to be able to respond to that.
Okay, can we get somebody from Sodexo? Can we give them the opportunity to get that information to us? Maybe they don't know the dynamics of that situation, Ms. McIntyre. Can he try to track that information down? I mean, because we don't want him to not be truthful with us, and he said he doesn't know. They're not sure, so can we allow them to do some research on that?
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Walker has his hand up. Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Ms. Green, you good with me going before you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know Danielle was.
All
No,
right.
I already coming back, so go ahead, Mr. Walker.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a question for Michael in regards to his presentation and honestly the slide. He mentioned, benchmarking our offerings against other districts around us, and literally the slide says, how do we measure up? So that is my question. From your findings with benchmarking against other school districts, how do we measure up in terms of our offerings compared to other school districts?
So I found that if we weren't on par, we were better than the school districts that are surrounding. I did research on 10 surrounding school districts, looked at all their menus, even including the ones that are actually in-person learning right now. And like I said, if we're not on par, we're exceeding. I looked at a lot of menus and they were repetitive, serving the same thing twice in 1 week. And a lot of components were very repetitive in the same week. Again, we have to keep in mind, if we were in school, in-person learning, there will be a lot of things that we can do from scratch and cook like we have been doing. And we look forward to the day when we can get the students back in so we can flourish at that again. But with the way we're serving now, it's kind of hard to do that. And we're still looking at different ways to get more fresh items out. That's a daily process right now. But again, we're serving close to 10,000 meals a day. And you have to think about it, how are we going to get 10,000 fresh meals out a day, and we're doing that. We're working on that right now.
So Michael, you said 10,000 in comparison to what? Because from what I'm hearing, it sounds like due to mass production, unfortunately, quality has went down a little bit. So I just want to make sure that I'm just, again, understanding correctly.
No, so the quality is not suffering at all.
Okay.
We just had to switch go from scratch cooking, all batch scratch and batch cooking, to being able to disperse this food out in a 7-day bulk where they can take it home, and with the cooking directions we provide for them, they can make it fresh at home.
Okay, thank you for that.
No problem.
Any other questions from the board members?
So are he saying that he's doing scratch cooking every day for the Flint Community School kids? I'm looking at grits and graham crackers and oatmeal. How you getting that to the kids in school from Northwestern? Are you saying you cooking every day fresh food like a kitchen and delivering this fresh food to them when they're in school?
So no, ma'am, I didn't say anything about fresh cooking. Now that we're dispersing the food out in the 7-day package. Once we get back to the school, yes, we actually do freshly prepare things at Northwestern and satellite everything out to the schools.
Okay. Are there any other questions, board?
Me, Secretary Green.
Go ahead, Secretary Green.
A couple questions. So just so I'm clear, Howard Estates is not included on the list to be served this summer? I know that was a little challenge last year. We made it happen, but I'm just so I know.
As of now, Ms. Green, it isn't on the list. We're still trying to finalize it. We got about a week or two before we finalize that list. Right now, I'm doing. We're looking. My team and I, we're looking over our list and seeing where the vacancies are on the map. Because Howard States could be that area where we do open up, and it's actually one of the ones we're deciding on and debating on. But we'll have a for sure list, a solid list in about a week or two.
Do we know who else is on the debate list of being served besides Howard Estates?
No, because it's really just Howard Estates, and the reason they're on the cusp is because counts were inconsistent, right? So sometimes we would go out there and it would be decent participation, and the next day 2 people will show up, you know, for the whole duration of the time. So
Will we be serving water also to families in the community?
we did partner with a few groups. We in the summertime we do actually serve water as well, cases of water out there. So I don't see why that would change this summer.
Who did we partner with to do that before?
Hello? Did we lose somebody? Did we lose our speaker?
Hello?
We might have lost them. Oh, there he goes.
Ms.
Yes,
Green,
I
were
was
you done?
actually going to call on Mrs. Stewart. If you do you remember who that group was? I mean, it was a little chaotic
Yeah,
that we partnered with.
we had some, yeah, I don't remember. That wasn't a smooth, it wasn't a
Yeah, it
smooth
was not.
transition, but I think it later kind of mellowed out, but I don't remember the group.
Yeah, and then we took we actually did take the horns, and we started supplying water as well too. So
I think I remember that the Lions was involved in the development.
yes,
I remember.
yes.
Oh, I have more questions, and this is kind of to piggyback off. Oh my God, y'all, sorry. With Laura, hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, guys. I gotta get my phone ready.
Okay, go ahead. Also, I
Hey,
wanted
look.
to ask, is it just like a baseline menu, or do you have like a menu where you can upgrade or different packages, or how is that decided upon? Or is it just you're serving 10, since you're serving so many, you're serving this and that's it? Excuse me.
I'm trying to understand your question, but I'm trying to let me see if I can answer it.
Do you?
So basically,
Mike,
we
if I can, I don't know if you can hear me.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, if I can, normally there is a baseline menu that you can update for elementary school, middle school, and high school, and then typically we update it based on the responses we get from students when we do our student survey every year, but typically, or from feedback that we get on a weekly or monthly basis from students that are in the district. During the pandemic, though, a lot of times with the menu has really been based on positive feedback. So for example, I think we were sending out a certain kind of juice before, and the feedback from the community was saying that they wanted wanted other types of juice that was a part of that package, and so we found ways to add additional juice, additional fruit, different items. So it's been consistently going up in terms of just getting feedback from people when they come to pick up meals on a weekly basis.
Okay, and when you do that survey, will you be polling the parents at all?
Yeah, absolutely. We do a student survey and a parent survey.
Yeah, and that actually piggybacks on the survey that I'm partnering with CRIM and creating, and will be out in a few weeks.
Okay, that's all for me. Is there any other questions? Okay, go ahead, Ms. Green.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so while you're looking into the questions that Ms. McIntyre asked about the CRIM, I would like to know if this is something, because I know Michael said they help them out when they need them to. Is this on a volunteer, or is this costing the district money? And if so, how much? And who selected the CRIM to do what they're doing? I don't recall that coming before the board. I'm not saying it should have, but I think it should have. But I'm not, I just need to know the deep down details of that.
Okay.
And if I may, this is Bernard Gladney. If I may, when I was the director, we didn't have like a separate MOU because CRIM was already a partner with Flint Schools in the buildings. And so when they had certain programs, just like with Youth Quest, we would come together and say, hey, this is what we want to do with kids. And they say, this is what we want to do with kids. And that's how that partnership would kind of form, but it wouldn't be anything formal, if I could put it that way.
Okay.
So this is not something that the Flint school is paying for.
No, the school district is not paying for anything.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Let's just make sure. And just another, because CRIM, you know, I worked in the schools when CRIM first came in during the pilot program, and it seemed like CRIM has kind of taken over. And as Arthur Whitson was saying, community school directors are instrumental, or were instrumental, and they still should be. And that's concerning. You know, I think that's I've talked about this before. I guess it's not to Sedesco so much, this is to everybody on the line listening. I think the community school directors, because I know their role in the schools has been diminished a bit, and I don't think that's the direction we need to go in. But okay, that's it for me. Thank you, guys.
Sure.
No problem. And let me be clear also, though, that it's very rarely that we do call on CRIM. We take pride in doing a lot of our work ourselves. Obviously, we're out in the city, in the district, around the schools every day, making sure that we provide the best product for our kids. So only when it seems like it's the right time for a partnership and it helps out and it works out to the benefit of the students is when we do it. And it's only been twice in a year so far. So.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, I have a follow-up to Ms. Green's. Yeah, so thank you for that, Ms. Green. I appreciate that. I just wanted to kind of reiterate some of what you were saying and maybe reinforce. This sounds wonderful, these relationships and coordinating things together. And I'm all for that. I'm all for, cooperating and getting one side to be in alignment with the other. But I would like to be reassured that you said that there's nothing formal in place between Sedexo and the CRIM, and I would like that either in writing or I would like that to be checked out. I would like assurances, and if there is something formal, I'd like to see what it is. Is there an MOU? Is there a wink and a nod in a back room somewhere? I mean, what is this relationship? And like I said, it's not that I'm adverse to it, but I think there needs to be more transparency and more out in the open. And I'm I agree with Ms. Green that CRIM's really been sneaking into the school district. I don't know what I mean, and they're doing wonderful things, but on the other hand, we used to have community school directors who did this, and there was more oversight and more community involvement. So I just want to, be clear about these things, about the relationships, and whether they are truly informal or not. So like I said, I would like reassurances to that. And this is a discussion that is to be continued. I think the board has talked about, we're going to be looking at your contract renewal. There are still some questions. It's not as if, there's anything that can be done at this point. We do have a new board. So we will be looking at, your performance and the services that you're providing, and the costs that you're providing them at in greater detail moving forward. So thank you for coming on here and answering these questions.
And
can I request Board Member McIntyre, there was a request, and I'm asking, administration is asking, either a motion is made and support by board members, or if the paper that's in the board bylaws is completed so that we can make her first original request an agenda item in regards to the relationship between Sodexo and CRIM and wanting us to do some further research and bring that information back. Can we do one of those things so that we're in line with the board bylaws?
We're still in discussion at this time, I thought.
Yeah, I'm confused. Why do I don't understand why there needs to be a motion. I just asked a question. I just need it answered. I don't think, why does there need to be research done? I just want to know and to have it stated truthfully and in public that there is or there is not a relationship between Sodexo and CRIM. I mean, my God,
You're
you know?
asking, if I understand correctly, you're asking for administration to bring information back to you. And I just want to make sure that we're bringing it back to the board. And so I'm just asking for either a motion to be made, or if we can fill out the paper that's within the bylaw so that we can get it on an agenda to bring it back to the board.
Okay, we're in the middle of a motion right now as it pertains to action item 11.4, and we're in the middle of discussion. So I don't know if another motion in the middle of a motion, I don't think that's proper. So I think this motion has to be completed in the vote, I think, before we make another motion. I think this has to be closed out.
I understand. I just didn't want us to move away from this and not capture the request so that we can have it on record if it is the request for administration to bring items back to the board.
Okay, Ms. Laura, after we close this out, do you care to make a motion to receive those documents?
I just asked if there were documents. I mean,
Okay.
sure, I'll make a motion. I'm kind of, I don't understand why this.
Well, he said it was not formal, so I don't see how there's any document.
I was gonna say, as the district manager, there's no formal the only contract we have is with Flint Community Schools. We don't have anything winks or backdoor or anything. And to your point, Ms. McIntyre, I was the food service director when we had community directors, and I worked very, very closely with those directors. And I still have long-standing relationships with many of those directors, many that live in my neighborhood actually. And so when it switched over to CRIM, there was a difference. And I understand exactly where the board is coming from in that perspective. And I think we just kind of really went with more of those relationships because it switched over from the community directors to CRIM actually hiring those people. But I think, like you're saying, I think coming back to what the community is needing is a necessity. But there's nothing, anything with CRIM behind doors, front doors, anywhere in terms of Sodexo Magic and CRIM.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
I really appreciate that. I mean, like I said, I was just looking for greater transparency and just, you know, some information. I didn't really realize it would get to the point where I'd have to make a motion for honesty and transparency.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Is there any other discussion or questions from the board? Seeing none, the motion to approve action item number 11.4 will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, please say yes or no to approve this motion. Ms. Joyce Ellis McNeil? Okay, I don't hear Ms. McNeil. Danielle Green?
Yes.
Laura McIntyre? Laura McIntyre?
I abstain.
Point
Okay.
of order, you can't abstain. You have to either vote yes or vote no.
Okay, we'll move on and come back to you, Ms. Laura, while you think about it. We have Ms. Green, a yes. Ms. Perry?
Yes. I
Mr.
think
Walker?
Ms. McNeil spoke.
I didn't hear her. Ms. McNeil, did you vote? I didn't think I heard her.
Ms. McNeil is muted.
Oh,
Miss, what,
Mr. Walker, go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Okay.
Yep. This is Adrian. Yes.
yes for Adrian. And then we have a yes for Miss Green, right, Miss Green?
Yes, ma'am.
We have a yes for Miss Perry. Is that correct, Miss Perry?
Yes.
And Adrian Walker, what did you say?
Yes, it's a yes for me.
Miss Diana Wright? Miss Diana Wright?
It appears Mrs. Wright has left the meeting.
Okay. What say you, Miss Joyce Ellis McNeil?
I'm so reluctant to say yes, but I don't want to hold up the kids because there's a lot of questions just was not satisfactory answer. So, it seems like to me we still need to have some type of amendment because there's some things we need to clear under some condition. I would say yes, and that's what we was asking for before because there's some things we need to clear up.
Right.
But under that note, I go ahead and say yes.
Okay, okay.
Fine, I'll say yes.
Then we have Miss Laura, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that leaves me. Okay, yes, because we need our children to eat, and I'm hoping that Sodexo, they did a good presentation today. I'm hoping that they are going to step up to the plate and make us proud. So at this time, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The motion passes. 6, Miss Wright was not available for vote, so that would count as a no, I would think. Next, we have the Finance and Operations 11.6 Treasurer MOU discussion. I now turn the floor over to Ms. Domprey.
Stephen, can you please make me a presenter so that I can share my screen? Can you all
Send
see
it
my
your way. Oh, not yet, no.
Did I neglect to do something?
Under the sharing drop down, there should be a play button there, and then you can choose right below that which application you'd like to share. If it's a PowerPoint, you should be able to click that, and it will take you right there and pop it up on everyone else's screen as well.
Some preferences. Wow, this seems kind of difficult. I apologize.
You can also, if you have it up, you can also just click the play button and it'll show just whatever is on your screen at any given time. It'll be
Okay,
a live feed.
so it keeps asking me to open my system preferences. And so when I choose it, it's okay, I can do go to meeting.
Yes.
Because I don't have the option to choose PowerPoint, but I can just choose a file.
If I believe if you just hit the play button itself, you don't have to hit the drop down. It'll just do a live shot of your desktop.
Okay, so I hit the play button. Can you all see my screen?
Let's try to refresh.
No.
No, ma'am. Let's see.
So I took off the pause button and then I hit play and I just have pause and it says it's giving me the option to show my main screen.
There it is.
Okay.
Yep, it just came up. Yep, there we go.
Apologize for the difficulties. Okay, so this presentation is about our MOU with the Department of Treasury. So the MOU is between the Department of Treasury and Flint Community Schools to identify the responsibilities of the parties in supporting Plant Moran Cressa LLC in its efforts to provide the following consulting services: a pupil enrollment projection, for $4,000, a building utilization assessment for $15,000, a program assessment for $5,000, and a capital planning facility assessment, which was for 11 schools for $24,000. And it says that the data provided from these services will support the development of the enhanced deficit elimination plan for the district. The terms and limitations, Treasury will reimburse up to $48,000 to the district for the cost of the services that I just mentioned to you, and that we have to pay them directly, and we can't have the bill submitted by Plant Moran. And this is the only thing that the MOU will cover: the program assessment costs, the pupil enrollment projection, the building utilization assessment, and a capital planning facility assessment. That's the only things that's covered by this MOU. This is just giving you a description of the services that will be provided and the timeline that it takes. The pupil enrollment projection, it just provides district-wide as well as specific grade cohort analysis of all of our students and getting us a projection of what to expect. This takes about 1 week. We actually have a draft available for the district right now, and we're setting up a date to review it. The building utilization assessment, it includes a school-by-school assessment of current enrollment compared to capacity and utilization. It incorporates the findings from the pupil enrollment projection study and provides a 5-year assessment for each grade cohort. It provides a student heat map to allow a visual graphic of current student population in comparison to the existing school locations. So this will take about 4 to 5 weeks to complete once we enlist Plant Moran Cressa for the services. Then the capital planning and facility assessment. This will be again on the buildings that we currently have students in. It provides a 10-year strategic capital plan detailed with critical needs, deferred needs, and property enhancements. It'll include a range of costs for replacement. So if we need some new construction of the various K-12 facilities. It includes a breakdown of potential funding sources for consideration, be it general fund, sinking fund, bond fund, or other sources. And this will take about 4 to 5 weeks from the time that we tell them that we want to take it, enlist the service, and then they can do a program assessment. This incorporates the current educational and support services for each school and provides alternatives for Flint Community Schools consideration. This program assessment will be done in conjunction with the building utilization. They'll do it at the same time, and this piece takes 2 to 3 weeks. And once it's complete, then they will come back and provide us with all of this information. Then that is the information that we can take to help us to do enhanced deficit elimination plan. Okay, I'm ready for questions.
Ms. Dunpray, I recall us asking you who else was eligible for the grant dollars to do this work besides Plant Moran. Did you ever get any information on that?
Yes, so so Treasury has stated that in the state of Michigan and in the educational industry, Plant Moran is the leader, and they are the ones that they approve to have do this work that we are requesting that's needed for the EDAP. So Plant Moran has done this for about 20 years and has done it for several school districts, and they provided a quality product that's been very useful for school districts.
Is Plant Moran the only company eligible for these grant dollars?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hey, Ms. Domprey, I have a quick question as it relates to the timeline, the total timeline. I know there were a couple in there, but is the 4 to 5 weeks the overall timeline potentially that we could be looking at? Should we choose to move forward with this, or is there another one? Just trying to get a feel again for the overall timeline that we're working with in order to receive all the information.
So it'll be 4 to 5 weeks before they can be finished. From the time they start, it will be 4 to 5 weeks before they can finish their completing all the different services, and then they can give it back to us, and then we can review it, and then it'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion from the board?
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Miss Laura.
I'm not quite sure what this is. I have to admit, I'm a little confused. It's the first time I've seen this, and this isn't exactly what we were asking about, but so Ms. Dumpre, you stated in the last meeting that there was a list of vendors that the Treasury had provided, and Plant Moran was one of them. And now you're saying that Plant Moran Cressa is the only one? I don't understand.
So what I said to you was that Treasury has a list of approved vendors that they work with, and Plant Moran Cressa is the only vendor approved for the services which we are seeking.
Well, we're not exactly seeking these services necessarily bundled together either. And we had a lengthy discussion about that. So what we asked you to do was to provide us with the list of approved vendors, period. So we still don't have it?
So this is the only approved vendor for these services.
Okay. Is that it, Ms. Laura?
So you're not going to give us the list of approved vendors that you were speaking of in the last meeting? You're just refusing to do that?
So Mrs. McIntyre, as I have stated on several occasions, Treasury uses approved vendors for multiple services. These services that we need, this pupil enrollment projection, the building utilization assessment, the program assessment, and the capital planning facility assessment, Plant Moran Cressa is the only approved vendor.
Okay, let me ask you again. They're the only approved vendor for all of these things or for them individually? So nobody else in the state is able to do any of these 4 things separately. Is that what you're saying? That Plant Moran Cressa is the only vendor.
Plant Moran is the only vendor that the state of Michigan has on their list as an approved vendor that can do each of these 4 services, be it bundled or separated.
So there's no vendor approved by the state to do a program assessment.
Plant Moran Cressa.
No one else can do a program assessment.
Mrs. McIntyre, I keep
says,
saying over and over.
Excuse me. She says no, Laura. So if we're gonna have to research that, if we're not gonna accept her information, she's sticking to that. And
well, then I'm confused about where the approved vendor. Okay, all right, never mind.
Well, she said something about a list. What list were you speaking of then when you said that, Miss Dumpre?
That there are there's a list of vendors that the state of Michigan and the Treasury Department works with for different types of services, and they have a list of vendors that they work for different kinds of services.
Okay, and this isn't just to get the grant dollars, this is period.
No, this is to get the grant dollars.
Well, let her answer, Ms. McIntyre, please.
Okay, sorry.
This is the only vendor that has been approved by the state of Michigan to get the grant dollars and do these services, or are these the only vendors that do these services, period? Can you independently contract somebody? But if you do independently contract somebody, you're saying they're not approved, period. Is that what I'm hearing?
So what I'm stating is that this is an answer for it can answer both ways. So in order for us to execute this MOU with the state of Michigan and they provide the grant dollars, we will be working with Plant Moran Cressa. who the state recommends and who is listed as an approved vendor from the state of Michigan for these services is also Plant Moran Cressa.
Anything else, Ms. McIntyre? Okay, so
Well, yeah, I did have a question. So can we get a copy of this? Is there, besides, I've said before, I really have an issue with being brought into a meeting and having a PowerPoint flashed on the screen. Can we have a copy of this? Can we see it? Can we be given some time to look at the information and get back to you?
So you all requested a discussion to go over this today. And so I prepared a PowerPoint for this discussion. This MOU will be a part of our Finance and Operations Subcommittee meeting on Monday, May the 2nd. And the MOU and this PowerPoint were going to be in that packet.
okay.
So the process would be, this is the information that we requested, you're providing the information. Then we go and we have a finance subcommittee meeting on Monday. We discuss it there and then bring it to the committee of the whole, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, as far as the list of vendors that are not approved for the grant, can we see who those vendors are?
Ms. McIntyre, I don't have any other vendors.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That was President McIntosh who asked you that.
Thank you.
Excuse me, President McIntosh.
Thank you, Ms. Dunpray. Is there any other discussion from board? Is that it? Okay. Seeing none, the motion to approve action item 11.4 will be conducted by a roll call vote. As I call your name, did I skip something?
This is not something to be approved.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a script that says it is. Okay, so, oh yeah, we're just discussing it and then we're moving it forward to the May 3rd meeting. I'm sorry. Okay.
President McIntyre, is this 11.4? Because I thought we just finished 11.4.
Okay, we on 11. Are we on 11.6? I'm sorry, the discussion has sidetracked me. Are we on 11.6 or 11.4? Ms. Dunpray, can you help me with that?
So we finished 11.4, and this was the discussion item under the finance and operations. So
11.
technically, we are finished.
Okay, that's what happened. My screen went back to 11.4. I am sorry. At this time, okay, at this time, we are done with discussion. Seeing no further action, I declare this special meeting adjourned. Have a good night.
Stay safe, everybody.